Hey, good morning. Tim Base Hack Brown and Brown. Is Greg available?
Yes, one moment. Hello, this is Greg.
Hey, Greg. Tim Base Hack Brown and Brown. How are you?
Hey, Tim, I'm doing well. How's everything with you?
Great, man. Great. Hey, do you have 15 minutes by chance to ask you a couple questions?
Hey, Tim, for you, anything.
I appreciate that, Greg. Everything so far has been great, and I'm excited to show you what we have to offer. Just some high-level questions I want to ask. So without further ado, let me ask you a little bit about the claim process at Temple University. You're such a large organization that it's inevitable that you have a couple of claims. Do you know how you go about managing those claims? Is there a formal process? Do you mind telling me a little bit about that?
Yeah, you mean to submit our claims to our carriers?
Yeah, is there a formal process that you do? Do you have them? Do you refer when you suffer a claim? Do you refer to someone in the organization? How do you go about it?
Well, my HR guy, handles most of that. Usually everything funnels through him. I typically only get involved if there's a real issue. The HR guy, Mike, who I think you met last time you were in here.
Yeah, I remember Mike.
He does a pretty good job with that. He's got his arm on that, and as soon as something comes in, he files a loss report, an incident report, and he takes all the information and passes that along to the folks who are at the carriers.
Okay. Now, if you had any major workers' comp claims over the past 2 or 3 years that you're aware of?
We mostly from our maintenance guys. The maintenance and landscaping and janitorial staff. That's probably where we see the bulk of it. It's kind of obvious, but we have had some issues there, as I'm sure you know. Mostly with the landscaping. Some incidents with some of the equipment. Nothing too major, but it all adds up.
Of course, I know, I understand. So you'd say the 3 biggest or highest risk factors at Temple with respect to the workers' comp would be, again, the maintenance, the landscapers, and what was the other one that you mentioned that was pretty problematic?
The janitorial stuff.
Okay.
And obviously the other one is our university is situated in not the best area. Our security guys, that's one of the things that I concern myself with mostly is those guys getting hurt. It's been pretty good the past couple of years, but you never know what's going to happen. So I guess the security staff would also be a risk for us.
Okay. Now, flipping pages to an automobile perspective, I understand, with Temple Hospital, you guys have several ambulances and various vehicles that you use through the agency, through the university. Have you had any auto accidents that come to mind over the past 3 years?
Yes, a lot. I think, I joke around with some of my guys here. I think our bus drivers are having too much fun at the tailgates with these football games. We have had some issues with the shuttles. Our shuttle drivers, we're in the process of kind of reorganizing our hiring process for that. But mostly auto has been with the shuttles. Like you mentioned ambulances, we haven't really had too many problems there. It's mostly coming from the shuttles and moving students to different areas around the city and around campus.
Now, what do you do when an auto accident occurs?
The first thing we do is get to the bottom of exactly what happened. That's Mike over in HR. He does a pretty good job with that. He brings the driver in, and, gets their side of the story and see what happened. If it was their fault, there's been cases where we had to let those people go, and then we have to submit those to the carriers when we have to. Mike goes through he does his due diligence for that process. Sure.
Hey, Greg, do you guys run MVRs on all your employees?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a return to work program?
Yes, we do.
How's that been?
It's been going pretty well. We probably could use some help there. It's kind of hard to find return to work for some of our things because most of the jobs at the university, with the exception, I guess, that the maintenance people are pretty specialized. So I mean, it's kind of hard to have a maintenance worker come in and do light duty and teach a chemistry course. You get me? It doesn't really exist with our nature of our business being a school, but
Sure.
We do. I mean, we have a few things with the maintenance guys. I mean, if they're hurt enough where they can't be outside working, or working in or outside, we typically have them do some kind of filing and schedule preparation inside the maintenance office. But I guess you could say we could definitely use some help there, trying to find ways to get those guys back so they're not laying at home, drinking beer, eating TV dinners anymore.
Living the high life. Hey, Greg, I'll make a note of that. We'll touch base more about return to work programs at our final meeting, so I'll make a point of that, that it was important to you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So how long have you been with your current agent for, Greg?
Gosh, I mean, I've only been in the role I am for, I guess, going on 6 years now in December. But prior to that, it was the same agent. I kind of came in. He's probably been here with Temple for, gosh, I don't know. He's an alumni, so 20 years maybe.
So he's an alumni, he's an owl. I went to Temple, right?
Yeah, I do. You mentioned that.
Yup. You mentioned those bus drivers and the tailgating. I may have seen one or two of them last week at the UCF game, but on a serious note, so it's a long relationship with the agent, and you've been there 6 years. What are some things about them? Like just 2 or 3 specifics that in the 6 years you've been there that you really like about them.
That I like?
Sure. Yep.
Gosh, you know what, Tim? That's a much shorter list of the list of things I don't like. I'll tell you that much.
Well, why don't you tell me what you don't like?
I don't know. I think. I mean, he comes in here, and I probably see the guy first of all for about an hour a year. When he comes in, gives me my renewal, which quite frankly lately has been less than stellar. But I don't know. It's aside from his personal flaws. Personality flaws that don't seem to really jive with me. It has to be his lack of organization. He's a tough guy to get a hold of. I mean, those are some of the, I don't want to get too much into it right now, but that's, in a nutshell, some of my issues.
It sounds like you have some grievances with your agent. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Okay. Has he ever come out and done a risk assessment of Temple?
A risk assessment?
Mm-hmm.
I very much doubt so. His agency, I think they have somebody that comes out and they look around, but mostly it's the carrier. It's not really my agent. The Travelers comes out and they do their thing once a year. Walk around, take some pictures, that kind of thing. But that's really it.
All right, man. That's all I have for you now. And we'll be in touch in a little bit, but I appreciate you taking the time out.
All right, Tim Bell. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Greg.
See ya.
I think this is a real opportunity.